So tuition assistance is that third pillar where we are helping families pay for high quality preschool. The big caveat with tuition assistance is you do have to be a star-rated program for your families to receive tuition assistance. That's a 1-star, 2-star, 3, 4, or 5. But you do have to be star-rated to receive that benefit for your families. Even if you're unrated, you have a year to get up to that 1 star so you can start offering that tuition assistance in the following year. Again, tuition assistance is for children who will be 4 by September 30, 2017. And families who are residents of the City of Dayton, City of Kettering, are eligible for tuition assistance no matter how much money the family makes. That's another thing that we really need to be clear about. Your family, a family you have could make $500,000 a year. They will still be eligible for some tuition assistance. On there also, tuition assistance never goes to the parents. It is deposited directly into an account you give us to offset the amount of tuition that you charge that family. With this City of Dayton and City of Kettering thing, there is a small pot of funds to serve children who live in Montgomery County but attend your program in Dayton or Kettering. For example, if you have a program in Dayton but you have a family from Centerville, they are eligible for tuition assistance, but the pot of money for that is small and it will be given on a first come, first served basis. So if you have those families and we say, hey, tuition assistance applications are out, better get them rocking and rolling on it. So that can be unclear. So again, if you are a program in City or Dayton but do have Montgomery County residents in your program, they are eligible for tuition assistance. It's just a small pot of money and we want it to be utilized. We know.
I'm sorry, what if it's the opposite? Like my school's in Trotwood. But I have Dayton public kids in my building.
Okay. Yeah, so that child would be eligible because they're a City of Dayton resident. Yes. I know, believe me, it's confusing. The tuition assistance table was just approved by the board yesterday, so you would be able to see how much this breaks down by. It will be on our website at preschoolpromise.org, hopefully by the end of the day today. If you are star rated and want us to come out and work through that tuition assistance table with you, we would be happy to do that. What we did this year is the tuition assistance is based on household size, income, and star rating of the program. So the higher star rated program you are, the more tuition assistance that family will receive. We're trying to incentivize families to choose high quality by giving them a break on that tuition, and a bigger break, because we know the cost of quality, this is astounding too, in Montgomery County for full-time, full day, is about $13,500 a year right now. That's crazy, that's a mortgage. That's crazy to me. So that's only, obviously, a small number of families are able to access these very expensive programs. So we want to be able to help them do that. The other thing that is different this year for the tuition assistance table is that we had 1-star programs going, actually, you're only paying us this much. It costs more to be high quality. So we have said if you're a 1, 2, or 3-star program, we're going to pay you at a 3-star rate. That application includes some documents that they have to submit, including birth certificate, proof of residency, a copy of the 1040 or 3 weeks current pay stubs, whichever most accurately reflects the income of the household, and custody documents, if applicable. Based on all that information, we use our tuition assistance table that I said will be up on the website, so you'll be able to see that, and say, okay, this family's eligible for $575 a month. They're private pay. We're going to give them $575 a month in tuition assistance. The family receives that letter. If they've chosen you as a provider, you receive that letter. So we all know now that this family is getting this much in tuition assistance. After you receive that letter, you complete what's called a parent agreement. That parent agreement says, ABC Childcare charges $800 a month. Preschool Promise is going to give me $575. How much do the family now owe to the provider? So it's clear to the family and you that that is now the new amount that they have to write you a check for every month. We just don't want any discrepancy. With that parent agreement comes an acknowledgement of the attendance policy. For families receiving tuition assistance, we expect their children to be in your program 60% of their scheduled days or more. 60% is generous, incredibly generous. 60% of those scheduled days or more. If a family misses that and there isn't extreme illness, a calamity, a family emergency, we obviously take all of those things into account. This child just isn't coming. They receive an attendance watch list, because remember, you're sending us that attendance monthly, so we know if that child's not hitting that mark. We generate a letter that says, hey, you're receiving tuition assistance. Remember, the expectation is 60%. Can we help you somehow? Is this a transportation issue? Is this a medical issue? We want to help, but in the same respect, understand that there is an expectation there. In that letter it says, hey, if this happens again, in any month, not just the next month, in any month, you forfeit your tuition assistance. So families have 2 months to figure it out. Okay, so there is, with that parent agreement, it not only outlines the money part, but it also says, hey, because you're getting this money, you agree to this attendance policy. Once we have that parent agreement signed, and you sign it, the parent signs it, you email it back to us, now we're ready to pay you. We will not pay providers unless we have that parent agreement for that child. We've had some issues this year where programs want back paid. We need that parent agreement before we will initiate payment to you. Again, what happens is we figure out how much tuition assistance you're supposed to get monthly. 4C sends the administrator email, says, hey, this is how much I think you're supposed to get based on each child. You say, hey, that looks great, that's right. We pay you then by the 3rd Friday of the next month through an EFT transfer. So attendance is due, for example, for January, attendance is due Friday, because the 5th... Thank you. The 5th falls on a weekend, we ask you to do it the Friday before. So for January, attendance is due this Friday. The 3rd Friday in February, you will receive that money in your account. Okay. So far it's worked pretty good. We've had some kinks, and obviously there's scenarios that you never think would happen that do, but we feel like we've really handled them on a case-by-case basis. Okay, that's great. Those are private pay families. I don't serve any private pay families. PFCC children will be asked in that Preschool Promise application to sign what's called a release of information. They've already given all the information we need to the county for PFCC, so we don't want to ask for it again. What we're asking them to do is let us get into their system and see all that, so we can determine a tuition assistance amount based on that information. Based on that information, the family will receive an amount. That amount obviously goes to offset copay first, because it is tuition assistance, if the family has a copay. Family doesn't have a copay. Well, guess what? That money is still going to go to you, because we know that the state reimbursement level isn't enough to do what you need to do. So the 0 copay families, you still might receive some tuition assistance to bridge the gap between what the state is reimbursing you and what we know it costs to provide quality care. Okay, so there is a benefit for PFCC children who are in this as well, and for you who are serving PFCC children. It's pretty significant, and what we're trying to do is get high quality programs to start enrolling more PFCC children. We know that high quality programs sometimes have to limit that number because the money just isn't enough to support the programming that's going on. So we want to remove that barrier, is what our hope is with this tuition assistance table. Anything else? Come on, am I missing anything?
Does anybody have any questions? I think Lynn's got something that she's thinking.
There was one barrier that we came across, and that was getting the child's social security number.
Okay.
And so right now everybody just did their taxes.
Right.
So they should have that on hand. So that was like a little cue you can give to your families that, hey, look on your most recent tax form.
So we've seen it all. There are rules for tuition assistance, so say we are going to give you that surplus on top of the zero copay. Can't just go buy a car, go on a fancy vacation. There are limits, obviously, to what you can do with that tuition assistance, and that is outlined in your handbook also. So it's, staff compensation, quality supports, materials, training, all the things that will help you improve the quality of your program. Okay. There, it's in this list. Voucher notes, kind of on for you. Yes.
So Title 20,
Uh-huh.
so they can still be Title 20.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Now with Head Start, are any of you EC expansion? Jim, I know you are. Keisha here. Okay. So there is some limitations on funding. Example, if a child is, I'm trying to think of what this is, and I might just have you guys chat later with the ECE funding. Head Start and ECE, we can't additionally fund some of those children just because they're fully funded through that model. But we can chat later about what that means for those families. You also have a timeline in your folder, I believe. It says Preschool Promise Timeline. Guys, I know, hang in there with me, we're almost done. That might be a piece of paper you're missing. Okay. Here's the thing. What I need you to write down, if you do not have this paper, February 24th. February 24th. Write it big, write it bold, write it wherever you are going to see it. February 24th is the deadline for program applications. If you want to be part of Preschool Promise next year, I need your application by February 24th. We will go through the application process next, but that's the big one that you need to know. In your packet, I believe I see them, so hopefully you should have them in just 1 second. You should have the Preschool Promise Program application. How are you, by the way? Good to see you.
Some of them are in color, some of them may be in black and white, but I think we got everybody on the application.
How did you share that?
You need one?
Yeah, I need to look at one. Okay, I'm gonna wing it. All right, I've been looking at these things for months now. I should be able to do this, right? Okay. At the top is general program information. What's your program's name? What's its license number?
Do you have a certain amount of slots?
No. For programs?
Yes.
No.
I mean, for citywide?
Correct.
You're just open for however many comes
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we will go through the provider approval criteria as to how we will be approving these after we get through the application. Yep. Yes, so don't all inundate me tomorrow with your applications. Okay, so the top of the application is general program information. What's your program name? What's your license number? Primary contact. Who do you want us to contact about Preschool Promise at your program? We really want this to be a building-specific person. Primary contact. If you're not there, who's the secondary contact? Pretty simple. The owner name, we need this, owner contact information. What we found this year is that there's multiple levels of administration, and sometimes it's not going up or down the way it needs to. So we need owner name, phone number, contact information on top of the primary contact. If it's the same, write it twice. We need to make sure we understand those levels and who's involved at each level. If your owner is an organization, don't say, Nancy, Dayton Children. I want a name. Well, you would really have one, but yeah, I'm going to call Debbie Feldman. So just to be sure, if you do have an owner that is a person, we do need that. Number of each type of classroom. How many infant classrooms do you have? How many toddler classrooms do you have? How many preschool classrooms do you have? What's your star rating? Then we're going to ask you to check all the funding that you receive. Do you receive PFCC, EC expansion, Head Start? Just check the ones that you do receive currently. And at the bottom, what curriculum are you using? If you're not using one, just say nothing. It's okay. Flip to page 2. Here's where we're going to ask you specific information about your preschool classrooms. What is the classroom name? Is it cute? Frogs, bunnies, explorers, Wonder Kids? Is it room 110? Whatever you call that classroom, I want you to write there. What's the capacity of that classroom? How many children can it serve? What's the name of the lead teacher and assistant teacher, and what's their highest level of education? There is no education requirement. Again, it's just for our data collection purposes. What is their highest level of education? What are the ages of the children in this classroom? What dates does your program begin and end? Do you run August 1 to July 31? Do you run 12 months? That would be continuous. Is this classroom full-time or part-time? What are the days and hours of operation? Primary language spoke, and is it a Head Start classroom? We ask these same questions for up to 3 classrooms. If you have more than 3, just make a copy of one of these. Keep filling it out. Again, any classroom that you have 4-year-olds in would be a Preschool Promise classroom. At the bottom of page 3, there are the documents that need to be submitted with the application. First one, your license. Second one, if you're star rated, I need a copy of that certificate. Oh, I thought I had it memorized. 3, teacher credentials. You need this for licensing or step up anyhow. It's their OPR certificate, it's their bachelor's degree, it's their associate's degree. Whatever that highest level of education is, I need a copy of that credential. Number 4 is a big one because it can take some time to get from your insurance company. Because Preschool Promise is in your program and because things can happen and because the world is the world today, we ask that you carry insurance listing Preschool Promise Inc. as additional insured. Most people already have a general liability insurance with these limits, and they call their insurance company and say, I need to add an additional insured, and the insurance company sends me the certificate. That can take some time though just to work through that process with the insurance company. The second piece to this that is key is that that policy must carry sexual abuse and molestation coverage. Unfortunately, again, the world we live in today, insurance experts and our lawyers all said this is a must-have, and all child care programs should have it anyhow as best practice. So your insurance we need verification that it does cover sexual abuse and molestation coverage, as well as naming Preschool Promise Inc. as additional insured. So we need, and also I don't need your whole insurance policy. I don't need all 125 pages of it. I would love to read through that on a Saturday, but it's really okay. I just need the certificate that the insurance company fills out that has the limits and the little box at the bottom that says Preschool Promise Inc. That's all I need. We need proof of workers' compensation. You should have a BWC insurance policy if you have employees. Just make me a copy of that certificate. Some family child care providers are sole proprietorships and they do not need BWC insurance. So we have a form that says I'm a sole proprietor, I don't need to carry this, and that's what that waiver is. Just so we have record that it's just not missing from our files, they don't need it. Same with automobile insurance. If you transport children, I need a copy of your policy that insures those children while you're transporting them. If you don't transport children, we're going to have you sign that waiver that says, I don't carry automobile insurance for my company because I do not transport children. I would send it to you. Great question. I need published rates for all groups. We do a lot of studies. We're not going to go and I'm going to get it and call somebody like, oh my gosh, they charge this. Oh no, they charge this. It's about what does quality cost in Montgomery County. That's all we want those rates for. It's just a general study about what programs are charging versus what it costs.
And it doesn't have to necessarily align with what your reimbursement rate for publicly funded child care says. So there's a rate, and I'm not going to quote it because I don't know it exactly. But if your rate is $175 a week, and you're reimbursed at $145, your rate is still $175. So it needs to be reflective of what your rate is, not what you're being reimbursed at, if it's different.
So that's our published rate, like we charge, like we have a rate of what it really costs.
Yes.
But we subsidize as a parish?
Correct.
Okay.
But I would
What
like
the
to know
published-
what you charge as that published rate.
Okay.
Yes. And the handbook, you have a signature page at the back. I need you to sign that with all applicable signatures, and the commitments page. I need you to sign that and send it all to me. My email address is on there. That's who you will send this all to. If you need to mail it, just email me and let me know, and I will give you the mailing address. Email is best. If you can just scan all this in and send it to me as one PDF, that would be amazing. But if you can't, completely understand, let me know. We can come pick it up. You can mail it to us. We just need to get it somehow.
I was gonna say that, especially the programs that we're currently working with for the demonstration year this year. I got you. I can pick it up. We can pick them up. Let's just and bring them and turn them in.
Yes, Ms. Keisha.
Do we, as current providers, have to resubmit all these documents?
Great question. No. Current providers, the only thing I need you to resubmit is check your insurance policies. I'll be running a report because they do expire annually, so I will need those updated. If your teachers have changed, I need new credentials. But I will ask that you fill this out just so we have the most current information.
And I think the BWC certificate
Expires as well.
So you may have to
Yep.
have an updated one.
Expires, we need updated.
Okay.
Yep.
And one more
Great
thing, just to piggyback off of Ashley's point, like the turnaround time, so February 24th is coming up pretty quickly as far as the application deadline. We have found, like you said, that some of the insurance companies, the turnaround time to get that additional insured ad or get the molestation coverage added, sometimes it takes time. So my strong recommendation is not to wait until the last few days to try to do that right before the 21st, because it has taken some time for some companies.
Yes, Mary.
I just wanted to make a comment that I found last year in asking my insurance company for the add-on, they did charge like $150 for that.
Okay.
At Preschool Promise, so that's something too that might.
Okay, great, thank you. That's the long and short of it. Some things that we have done this year that have been very exciting. Some of you saw me handing out bags of materials to some of our programs now. We held a 3-day conscious discipline training. Preschool Promise providers who attended that received $100 worth of conscious discipline materials for each of their Preschool Promise classrooms. That was a benefit of Preschool Promise.
Well, Preschool Promise, I like it because it helps the parents pay some of their tuition. Even though I'm having a problem with a couple parents who don't want to participate, like my sister. You can get help. She's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want them all in my business. And I'm like, okay, but you know, but I was like, okay, well, keep your money. You know, you want to keep on paying me, that's fine. But I really like it because it helped the parents. You know, some of them can't really afford, especially the private pay parents,
Right.
Can't afford the tuition fee. And I really appreciate that, you know, this came about so it can help that with them, you know, help that cost with them. Sorry, I'm not good with speaking. Also, I love Kawana. She comes in, she's really hands-on, you know, with me and Mr. Mike. She gives us great feedback on her Preschool Promise. She actually pushes us, because I'm like, oh, no, you know, she's like, no, come on, you can do this, you know, it's this, and that. So me and Mr. Mike work well with